Today, we're diving into a pretty wild experiment. We're pitting an AI against the world with just $100 on the line. So, here's the big question, right? Can an AI take a measly $100 and turn it into a fortune? Like, super fast? We're going to look at two real-world tests that basically gave ChatGPT the keys to the car. Can it be a brilliant entrepreneur? Or maybe a stock market genius? Well, let's find out.
All right, first up, we've got a case that absolutely exploded on Twitter. It comes from a guy named Jackson Fall. He basically gave an AI a really simple goal, a tiny budget, and what happened next was kind of nuts. He called it HustleGPT.
And this is the exact prompt he used. Look how simple it is. He told the AI, "You're HustleGPT. I'm your human counterpart. You have $100. Your only goal is to make as much money as possible without breaking the law." He basically said, "You're the boss. I'm just here to do what you say." The AI was completely in the driver's seat. So, what was the AI's big master plan? It didn't mess around. It immediately spit out this 4-step strategy. Buy a domain, create affiliate content, design a logo, and build a landing page. And the business idea? An affiliate marketing site for eco-friendly products. I mean, that's a pretty solid, modern idea, right? This wasn't just some vague concept. It was a real, step-by-step plan.
Okay, now this is where things get seriously futuristic. For the logo, Jackson had ChatGPT write out a super detailed prompt for another AI. You've probably heard of it, DALL-E 2, the image generator. So he literally had one robot giving instructions to another robot, and it actually worked. Insane.
And the AI didn't stop there. It got wildly specific about the website. It picked the domain name, greengadgetguru.com. It wrote the headline for the first article. It even laid out the entire web page, where the logo should go, how the columns should be set up, the menus, the whole shebang. It even went and found actual products on Amazon to link to. So what happened? Did any of this work? Well, after spending just about $36 on the domain and hosting, Jackson's post about the experiment started getting attention. So much attention that by the end of day one, an investor showed up and offered $100 for a 25% stake. Just like that, the initial $100 had already turned into more than $163.
But wait, it gets crazier. That was just day one. On day two, the whole thing just exploded. The Twitter thread went completely viral. A new investor came in and offered $500 for just 2% of the company. If you do the math on that, this brand new, totally AI-generated company suddenly had a valuation of $25,000, all driven by hype. Okay, but let's be real here. There's a huge catch. Was this really the AI being a business genius? Not really. The experiment had a pretty big flaw. All that success, that valuation, it didn't come from the website actually selling anything. It came from investors who just loved the story. And that story only went viral because Jackson already had a big following on Twitter. Take away that built-in audience, and this whole thing probably would have just been another dead website.
So we learned that HustleGPT was amazing at creating hype and telling a good story. But what happens when you strip all that away? What if you put an AI in the cold, brutal world of the stock market where stories don't matter as much as results? Well, to find out, we came up with our own experiment, InvestGPT.
Now, setting this up was a little tricky. You see, ChatGPT's knowledge is famously stuck back in 2021, which was a totally different universe financially. So we had to get clever. We gave it this time travel prompt, feeding it all the key data from 2023, where the S&P 500 was, Bitcoin's price, the fact that banks were collapsing. You get the picture. We brought it up to speed. And then we gave it the exact same goal, turn $100 into as much money as possible.
So what did InvestGPT come up with? At first, its strategy looked surprisingly smart and sensible. It suggested a diversified portfolio. Half in stocks, a quarter in bonds, a bit in crypto, and some cash on the side. Honestly, it's not a crazy get-rich-quick plan at all. It's a pretty balanced, textbook approach.
But the big question is, did it work? We ran the numbers, we backtested the portfolio, and oof, in the time period we looked at, the S&P 500 itself lost about 13.5%. The AI's portfolio? It did even worse, losing over 15%. Our $100 investment was suddenly worth about $84. Not exactly a stellar start. So we thought, okay, let's try again. We ran the simulation 8 more times. And because our prompt kept pushing it to make money as fast as possible, the AI started recommending way riskier stuff. And this is where it all just fell apart. It started picking things like the tech-heavy QQQ, which was down 20%, and the legendary Arctic Innovation Fund, which was down a mind-blowing 69%. Literally every single one of its risky picks was a loser.
And it gets worse. In another run, it got really clever and said, hey, forget Bitcoin, let's buy these smaller cryptos with more upside. It picked Cardano and Solana. The result? An absolute catastrophe. Over the period we tested, Cardano dropped 90%, 90, and Solana lost 85%, just a total wipeout.
Okay, let's hit pause and really break this down. We have two completely different stories here. One, AI creates a company that's suddenly worth $25,000. The other just consistently lights money on fire. What is going on here? Why are the results so wildly different?
It really all comes down to the type of task we gave the AI. Think about it. HustleGPT's job was creative. It was about building a plan, writing content, creating a story, and it was brilliant at creating a narrative that got humans excited. But InvestGPT? Its job was analytical. It was about predicting the future. It was up against the cold, hard math of the market, where a good story gets you absolutely nowhere if the numbers don't back it up.
So here's the bottom line. HustleGPT's success had nothing to do with running a profitable business. For all we know, that website never made a single dime from affiliate sales. It succeeded because the AI was an amazing hype man. It created a fantastic story that made people want to invest, purely based on excitement and novelty.
So what's the big takeaway here? What do these two experiments really tell us about the value of AI today? All right, let's boil it down. First, AI is an absolutely incredible tool for creative stuff, generating ideas, writing copy, brainstorming, all the things HustleGPT did so well. But second, and this is crucial, it is not a magic 8-ball for the stock market. It can't predict the future and make you rich overnight. When we pushed it to do that, it just picked super risky things that crashed and burned, which reminds us that real investing is usually a marathon, not a sprint. At the end of the day, AI is an amazing co-pilot, but it can't replace a human in the captain's chair who has real judgment and context.
So that leaves us with one final question for you. We've seen AI try on two different hats, the entrepreneur and the investor. We've seen where it shines, creativity, and where it struggles, prediction. So if I handed you an AI sidekick and a $100 bill, what task, what challenge would you give it?